What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 193. Today, we are back for another weekly episode. Back on YouTube, by the way. If you missed it, I did a Tigers episode last weekend, and it was audio only. So if you're a strict YouTube watcher and you're a Tigers fan, you're probably like, bro, where was it? But like, I was alone, so it's just like, and I'm not going to post any clips on TikTok, so it's like, why not just not do the YouTube? You know?
It was also a fun episode. Like,
Yeah.
I listened to it and was like, man, you made the Tigers sound interesting.
Thank you.
Like, they sounded awesome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that was a fire episode. I like the whole grades thing. If you didn't go listen to it, go listen to it right now. He mentioned on the podcast, I'm not there because I don't know baseball. Straight up. I don't know ball, I guess you could say. You could say I do not know
that
ball.
version of ball,
Yeah.
you do not know.
When
yes.
it's really small like that and has seams, don't know it.
Yeah,
don't know
right.
ball like that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Tigers because it's the middle of the season, obviously, right now. So yeah, I did player grades for all the guys. So once again, if you have not go watch that, go check it out on Spotify and let me know if you want to see. Comment on this video if you listen to that because there's really nowhere you can go comment for that. Comment on this video if you liked that video.
Yeah.
You know, and you want me to do more of those because I'll do random Tigers updates too if that's something that is wanted.
And again, if you don't have the ability to comment because you didn't watch it, just go listen to it. Like, it's on your podcast. It's on whatever you want to listen to.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
It's on every. I think it's
all
on
that.
Amazon.
Google Podcasts, I think, is one of them,
I think
too.
it's on Volt. Yeah.
I don't know who would use that, but...
We're everywhere.
Exactly. So go check that out. Also, plan on doing another 25 words or less this weekend. Easton's going to be out of town, but I think I should be able to round up enough dudes to bring back 25 words or less. Because I've been missing it. And also, I was just thinking of some good topics, and I was like, man, I want to do that. I need to write those down.
And that's the number one thing people tell me. It's like, man, those 25 words or less
I
are
know.
hilarious. Like, people love those videos. Those are fire videos.
And we've only done,
I'm
what,
excited.
like two of them? 2 or 3 of them?
I think
three.
three. Yeah.
Like, we need to do more.
Yeah, they're definitely good videos.
So yeah, that'll be look out for that. But today we're doing another weekly episode. We are going to be doing our top 10 small forwards today, as well as just some off-season NBA talk and some fantasy football talk as well, because fantasy football is here. I mean, it's not here, but like it's coming.
I'm so excited for fantasy football. I have been doing mock drafts for so long now, and I am juiced. I mean, like, now D-Hop's traded. We've got that figured out.
Yep.
Like, now we got to figure out the Dalvin situation, and then I'll be set. Like, I can figure out my strategy and my game plan for fantasy football.
I'm so excited for fantasy because, I mean, I'm in a lot of leagues already this year. I kind of want to join another one. I just love it. It's fantasy football. There's nothing beats it.
It's actually the best thing.
It
Like,
really
it's
is.
the best thing affiliated
Plus,
with sports.
I need to go get my water. So, like, can you rock it?
Yeah,
for, like, a
I'll
minute
rock
here?
it.
Okay.
Fantasy football. No, I'm playing. Fantasy football is the best because you never really know. Every week, the guy you're playing really does have a chance, whether it looks like it or not. There is any second you might get beat, and that's what makes fantasy football so good. And I think the randomness is what makes it so exciting every single time.
So here's a question I have for you about fantasy football. Oh, dude, it literally just left
that's
my
the worst.
brain.
Oh, no.
Okay, so it was something to do with like, okay, yeah, this is what it was. So have you seen that? Because since fantasy football has been around for so long, I see all of the like different ways leagues are ran, like in random ways. What is your opinion on the score system being not like matchup based? It's who has like the most points out of the week. Like, let's say you have 10 teams in a league. I've seen this as a popular new thing. The top 5 teams in points scored of that week get a win, and the bottom 5 get a loss.
That is so boring.
And then that's how the record is done.
That would feel so boring to me because, A, where does the rivalry come from?
Right.
Like, obviously, the championship game is still the exact same because whoever makes it. But like, how does playoffs work in that situation? You can't change it up and make it matchup based.
Right.
When playoffs come around,
I don't know
it's not
how.
a
I
regular
guess I didn't see how playoffs were done. Yeah, I've never liked that whole system, or even just like the points system in general, like getting rid of wins and losses. Like it's just points every week. It makes it boring.
It just takes away the randomness. The guy who might have the
Exactly.
lowest amount of points scored but is 4-1 somehow.
Exactly.
Like, it takes that funness away.
Because guess what? That's what happens in real football.
Yeah, Minnesota was outscored last year and had 13 wins.
Yeah.
And teams scored more points than them all year.
The
like, against
Carolina
them.
Panthers started off like 4-0, and they did not finish as above 500. You know, like it's just that's the best part about fantasy football is you could be the second highest scorer that week, but guess what? You played the first highest score. It sucks, like obviously that's happened to everybody, but it just happens. So we're gonna talk about fantasy football here in a minute. But
One thing I do like, one rule change I do think is fun is the median. I think the 2 games a week
have
thing
seen that.
where you play against the median of the league, which is the middle score, whatever the average or
Is
the
that
mean.
is that the weekly one?
Yeah,
no, it's the
weekly.
median, yeah, or maybe it is the mean. I think
Either
it's called
way.
the median.
Yeah.
But it's just for that week though, right? Like
Yeah.
the points scored.
So
Okay.
like let's say the situation where you're playing the first team. The team you're playing has the most points scored, and you have the second most points scored that week in the league. Well, then you're going to compare your score to the average score in the league, and if you're better, you get a win. So you'd be 1-1,
Right.
With
I have seen that. That's how that Walter Picks league works as well. They do.
I think it's a good way of doing
two
it.
games a week technically, even though you're only playing one.
Yeah.
That's definitely interesting. Like I don't hate that. That's a cool thing.
I think it's a good way to balance out the randomness, and for those guys who are like super serious, like super like,
Right.
well, that's just wrong. Like I was better that week, and it's
yeah,
like okay,
exactly.
yeah, you.
I
were.
saw you join Tebow's league today too.
Yes,
That's
today.
cool. Tebow's gonna come on the podcast soon. By the way, I was just talking to him this weekend. It's been a minute since he's been on, but he's creating a league this year, and I think I want to explain this because I think it's really interesting. It's a dynasty league. It's a dynasty super flex league, so 2 QBs, which I've never been in a 2 QB league yet, especially being dynasty. That's gonna be fun. But it's called a Devy league. I don't know where he got the name for that. Where in the rookie draft, and I think in the initial draft too, I don't see why you can't in the initial draft. You can draft dudes that aren't in the league yet. Like you could draft college players. You could draft high school players. You could draft a freaking middle schooler if you want and stash him on your taxi squad until he arrives. And then once he arrives, Tebow will just put them on your team, assign them to your team. And you'll just do that by drafting some free agent kicker. And then because you can use nicknames on Sleeper. So you just nickname him whatever his actual name is. So like, where does Caleb Williams go in our little Devy initial draft?
Got to go high, right?
Does he go like top 4 rounds?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
So in Devy leagues, also with the Superflex, QBs go way earlier.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah. But still,
So I
like
think
you're
so.
still waiting a year, and then it's a rookie QB at the same time. So like you're still waiting at minimum like 2 years before he's even like potentially pretty good.
There's no way somebody drafts him to be like their third QB though, right?
That's a good point.
You do
And then you
literally
just-
have to do that for year one, but like you probably still draft him as your second.
And maybe
QB
your
off the
second
board.
QB is like an older guy that's
Yeah.
like gonna like Aaron Rodgers or something, who's not gonna be good in a couple years. You stash Caleb Williams. That's my strategy. I'm doing it.
Hope they're not listening because you just screwed yourself.
Exactly. I'm super excited for this league though because it just sounds very intriguing and I like complex leagues like
Me
that.
too.
Have you ever heard of an auction draft league as well?
Yeah, where each player gets put up. You start with like $500,
Yes.
and then you get to bid on each
And
player. as they
players
come
just
up.
get put up and you just bid on them. Yeah. Love that idea.
That would be so much fun.
Elliot doesn't do any regular drafts. All of his leagues are auction draft, which I think is super cool. I mean, obviously doing a regular one is cool, but like
Doing all of
you
them.
get the dudes that you want though in those types of leagues.
For sure.
So I want to be in an auction draft.
Yeah,
league
like I don't even know.
badly.
Like you have $100, and first guy comes up that's Christian McCaffrey. Are you spending like $50 on him?
You can't though, right?
He's Christian McCaffrey.
I think my strategy would be because the way that Elliot was explaining it to me, at least how he does it, is players get randomly thrown up. Like it's not like the order of like ADP or whatever. Like you go in like a draft, you have like an order, and then guys just throw a name out there.
Gotcha.
So I think what I would do is I would let 20 dudes go off the board.
And then
And let guys spend their money because the top 20 guys aren't going to be the top 20 names,
Yeah,
that
for
come off
sure.
the board if you do it that way. Now, if it's done off ADP, then it becomes a little different. I don't think I would spend any money though for at least a few guys. Like let guys go because the first couple.
yeah, when Patrick Mahomes comes up, they're spending that dollar.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. The strategy is definitely wait and see who guys are like. Oh, Michael Thomas is going for $5. Yeah, I'll toss 6 on him.
Yeah.
Like, what a great value pick. Give me him.
Might as well.
That's what you do. Yeah, you definitely play the value
We've
game.
talked a lot about fantasy football here, so why don't we just get right into our fantasy football talk? By the way, comment what your favorite fantasy football format is, or your favorite site, because Sleeper has become my favorite. I think ESPN is the most aesthetically pleasing, but Sleeper has become my favorite fantasy site. Sorry, my cousin Jared, but I don't like Yahoo that much. We do our family league on Yahoo, it's fun because this is like our 10th or this is like our 11th season of the Family League, which is really cool. But I just don't like Yahoo as much as the other ones.
Yahoo's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but like it's an 11-year league.
Exactly.
At the same
So
time.
like it has to stay there.
It like Yahoo was the thing at that time.
It's a good point.
That's
yeah.
actually crazy to think like Yahoo was big 10 years
I
ago.
know, right?
No.
Big year for the Yahoo League because me and my cousin Jared are both 3-time champs. So race to the 4.
Shout out
I think
Jared.
I think we were both 3-time champs last year too. So I can't really remember. I had the first pick though. Okay. So we're gonna play Who You Taken in fantasy football game here. I'm going to give you 2 names that play the same position that are right around the same ADP. You're going to tell me who you would rather draft. If both of them were on the board, who you taking? That simple.
I got to play this smart because I wonder how many of my fantasy league mates.
Oh,
I'm
that's a
playing.
good
I'm
point.
playing. I'm not doing that.
What pick you having? You have third pick?
Third pick.
I know so much about your league.
I know. It's so funny.
Get me in that
It's like
league.
one of those things like, why the hell aren't you?
I'm
You're
the
more-
overseer of the
Like
league.
you're literally just as involved
Seth
as
did
everybody
hire
else.
me as the assistant GM of his team this year, though, so I'm not going to have much affiliation with anyone else.
Oh, gotcha.
But I'm still allowed to like make trades, though, with other people. So.
But like, I won't make a trade with an assistant. I got to talk to the head guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Gotcha.
saying.
Okay, so I have 2 running back ones, 2 wide receiver ones, a quarterback, and a tight end. Starting off with running back. Who you taking? Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler?
I am so big on the Christian McCaffrey train this year. Like I can tell you right now, if like, so I'll tell you, Jack.
Yeah, that's a big thing with you having the third pick.
Yeah,
Like, these
'cause-
are both potentially on the board.
Oh yeah, if Christian McCaffrey and Eckler are both there at 3, which I think is a very likely possibility.
be.
Wide receiver heavy is very strong. You know, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, typically go at that 2 range. And so does CMC and Eckler, just depending on
Right.
who you're playing with. But CMC, I just see that 49ers offense being so elite at getting him the ball in space and also using him at the right volume. You know, he might not have his 38-point weeks where he has 15 catches for 120 yards. He's probably going to have his 26-point weeks with like 8 catches, you know, a touchdown, 2 touchdowns probably. And that's what I see with the 49ers offense. I think his health is less of a question in San Francisco because of the weapons around him and because of how well they spread the wealth
Right.
there. And the reason I'm not such a big guy in Eckler is I just don't know if that touchdown number is repeatable again
Very
with
true.
what he's been doing in his career. The touchdowns are so important to Eckler's success. And he's a great pass catching back. The offense didn't get any worse. It probably got better with the inclusion of Quentin Johnson as another receiver, another deep ball threat. So maybe he opens up more opportunities, but I'm taking Christian McCaffrey.
I think I'm with you on that one. Especially with and we're going to talk a little bit about this after we talk about the Lions. With the whole running back holdout situation going on in the NFL, Austin Eckler is a big part of that. So there's a world where Austin Eckler threatens to sit out. And obviously in that situation, you're going to take McCaffrey over him.
Running backs get treated like shit. Like
We're-
they
oh, yeah.
all think they're undervalued. It's hilarious.
They all do. We're going to talk about it because it's kind of a big deal right now. Next one. Who you taking? Tony Pollard or Travis Etienne? These guys are right around the same ADP. Pollard's a little higher, but Pollard's kind of going through this running back thing. He didn't get the extension, but he doesn't seem to be like talking like he's going to sit out or nothing. So who you taking, Pollard or Etienne?
These are 2 guys that I have very differing opinions on. Etienne, I'm not that high on this year. Do I think Etienne could be really, really good? Yeah, I don't think he can be Tony Pollard good.
Okay.
Tony Pollard is going into, like you said, he didn't get his extension, going into his contract year. Should be, I mean, he was explosive last season. Unbelievable being the second back, and he gradually became the first back. And my fear with like comparing him to, there's nobody else in Dallas. It's Tony Pollard.
Right.
It's Tony Pollard's backfield. The Jaguars go out and they draft a running back, Tank Bigsby, big running back. And I'm worried that, you know, when the Jaguars inch closer and closer to the goal line, Etienne's going to get pulled. And we're going to stick the big guy in and we're going to run through the middle. That's not a guy you want in your fantasy team that's getting taken out in the goal line. Goal line touches are so important in fantasy because touchdowns are just such a game changer
Right.
on a week-to-week basis. Somebody could have a terrible week, but if they end up with a touchdown, oh, good week. Great
Yeah.
week. You're
and last
happy with
season,
it.
Pollard was the guy where Zeke was getting all those goal line touches. Now Zeke is gone. Zeke obviously still has not signed somewhere, so like maybe he comes back to Dallas. I don't think so. Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm Tony Pollard as well. And it sounds like the ETN like rumors. You know, the rumor mill's really going to come up with training camp starting next week, but it sounds like ETN is like kind of people are like falling off with the love of drafting him high. As initially, I think he was going like early second round. Now he's kind of fallen to that third round territory.
Yeah, he felt like such a sure thing with the pass catching and everything. But then the Tank Bigsby news just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's
Right,
like
yeah.
they plan on using this guy. He's not just going to be there.
Exactly.
And ETN was going to be a monster because of his ability to move in open space, how quick he is, those long plays. And then it's like, well, if he can finish any of them with touchdowns, you got a good week.
Yeah.
But we just don't know anymore.
Similar backs last year who both were very involved in the pass game, didn't get an absurd amount of carries per game. Both from only would get right around 10 a game. But we don't know this year with both of, James Robinson being gone. Obviously, he was traded last year. And then Zeke Elliott being gone.
Is he on the Patriots right now, or did he get caught?
J-Rob?
I think he got caught.
Are you talking about Robinson?
Yeah.
I don't think he's on a team because he got traded to the Jets last year and then ended up getting cut by the Jets. And then I don't remember
feel
him
like he
signing
signed-
with the team. He might have signed with the Pats.
I think, but I'm not sure.
I really have
I'm
no
not sure.
clue. All right, let's move on to the wide receivers. Who you taking? Cooper Kupp or Tyreek Hill?
Oh, man. This
I
one
was
is so
initially going
tough,
to do
man.
Chase or Kupp, but it seems like Chase is wide receiver 2, kind of like in everybody's mock drafts right now. So I went with Kupp or Tyreek because it's Tyreek had the better year last year. Kupp put up the better average fantasy points. Clearly he was injured. Who you taking?
This season, it is so tough with those two wide receivers. Tyreek was unreal last year. Some of the games he would have were just,
Especially for where he got drafted.
I mean, yeah, you want to talk video game. He's a video game guy out there. He runs around like he's in an old Madden, and he juiced his speed rating all the way up, and he's cheating now. That's how he
By
plays.
the way, J-Mo, second highest speed wide receiver behind Tyreek Hill and Madden.
That's 2 years in a
Madden
row.
rankings suck, though.
They
so,
were
like,
bad. I looked at their running back rankings are terrible.
all of them are bad.
Man, lost.
Sorry.
Totally
Cooper
lost.
Kupp or Tyreek Hill.
Yes, thank
My
you.
bad.
I do see Tyreek Hill going as high as like 3, all the way to like 9. It is so
sure,
much how you.
yeah,
And
for
same with
sure.
like Kupp. Kupp is I think Kupp
no way
is
he
the
falls.
receiver higher, and I am higher on Kupp because I've seen him do it before with Matt Stafford, and not much has changed other than they've gotten worse, and I feel like they need the ball in his hands more than ever, and that's where it's like. We know Kupp is getting 15 targets a game. Everybody can sit here and know that he will get the ball.
And it is going to happen.
And he was hurt last year. Had a great year. Matt Stafford was banged up last year, and he still had a good year. Now they're both coming in, both on they're on their comeback season, and let's see what they do. I'm also I like Cam Akers in that offense as well.
Oh, okay.
Just tossing
little information.
I'm just
out there.
tossing. If you want to win your fantasy league, don't listen to me. I've never
Good point, yeah.
I've never won a fantasy
Take the
league.
opposite of whoever he is taking here. Even though I'm agreeing with you again, though. I like Cooper Kupp. Now, this is a situation where you can't go wrong. I think there's about I'm picking Cooper Kupp as a 51% over a 49% Tyreek Hill here. Like
It's a good one.
You can't go wrong with either of these guys. I would love to have them both. But I think Cooper Kupp, like we know the kind of numbers he's going to put up. Not saying we don't know Tyreek Hill isn't going to put up good numbers, but like I'm more confident in Cooper Kupp putting up 20 points a game.
Me too.
Every game.
Me too.
Than
It's
I am
the
in Tyreek
consistency
Hill.
that I
now,
think.
is Tyreek Hill going to have multiple 40 bombs? For sure. But is he going to have a few 8s?
Probably.
Maybe.
He has like one a year.
Exactly. Cooper Kupp doesn't. You
No.
know, he's going to have 20 every single game. So, and I like consistency.
Can I guess the next two wide receivers you're going to compare, or can I give you two?
Yeah, give me 2. Unless it's not the one that I have for you.
Waddle and T. Higgins.
Ooh, that's a good one. Actually, me and Seth did a mock draft today because I found out I had the first pick in my family league. So, I knew that, but I hadn't been doing any mock drafts. And I was actually in the situation to draft Waddle or T.
I'm in
Higgins.
it every single time.
Yeah. And I took T. Higgins strictly because T. Higgins is going into that contract year. So I know it's different for a wide receiver because, like, it's not like they can just get the ball like running backs do when they're in a contract year. But also, I just think that Bengals offense is better than Miami's offense. Obviously, they're both like probably the 2 best wide receiver 2s in the entire NFL. So it's hard to take a wide receiver 2 that early, but they're a lot better than a
so
lot of other
good.
wide receiver 1s. But that's a situation where I'm comfortable taking either guy. In this right now moment, I would take T. Higgins.
And I think I tend to agree because I think the totals will look better for T. Higgins at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We've seen Joe Burrow pass for 5,000 yards now, and it's like some of those got to go to T. Higgins. Like
Yeah,
he's going to
quite
have a lot of
quite
yards.
a lot of them, yeah.
And it doesn't know whether or not the touchdowns come
Plus,
with
also
it.
my Dynasty League bias comes into play because I have T. Higgins in Dynasty. So, like,
Oh, gotcha.
I'm already rooting for him. So, I'm going to continue
I
that.
think I've had T. Higgins 2 straight years now. Like, I think I had him.
This will be my third year with T. Higgins on my Dynasty team. Yeah.
So maybe I go Waddle. Who knows?
Who knows? Okay, the one that I had for you is guys that are right after that Kupp and Tyreek range. Who you taking? Stephon Diggs or Devontae Adams?
This one doesn't take much thought for me, and I'm going Stephon Diggs. Better offense, better football team, but like, and he gets super mad when he doesn't get the ball. I think that's good for a fantasy player. Like, oh, now Josh Allen's thinking, man, Stephon's been pissed for a whole game because I ain't passing the ball. Probably should pass it to him. I think that's beneficial. But I just think the better offense, better situation. There's so much unknowns in Oakland or Las Vegas.
Very good points made. I agree with you. I still like Devontae a lot. Like, I would love to, especially as a second-round pick, like, for sure.
If you get him the second round, you pull the trigger.
In a 10-man league. In a 12-man, you're probably not getting him in the second round. But, I like Devontae a lot in that second round. But you got to take Diggs. I would agree.
It's just the offense, I think.
All right, moving on to tight ends. Who you taking? TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews?
Oh.
Who is tight end 2? Obviously Travis Kelce is going to be a first-round pick. Last year, the Mark Andrews Kelce gap was not that big. This year, it is widened. And TJ Hawkinson, I think, has a higher ADP on Sleeper right now. I haven't done any mock drafts on ESPN, so I'm not sure yet. But they're right there. They're right there together.
Man, that's so interesting. I like Hawkinson in Minnesota. They're going to be down in a lot of games. They're going to have to throw the ball at the end of games. It's super beneficial for players like him, who's going to be streaking right down the middle, doing his release blocks, his pass block into a release route. But Mark Andrews, man, we've seen him have a tight end one season, and I think he's still capable of that right now. We haven't seen that from TJ Hawkinson. We've seen him have a good stretch of games multiple times through multiple years. The 1 year in Detroit, he was unreal. He was tight end 3 by a long shot.
I think he was tight end 3 last year. He finished as tight end 3.
And he had a great season. Like his last 6 games in Minnesota, I think he was tight end 2.
He might have been tight end. Was Kittle tight end 2 last year? Or was it I think it was Hawkinson, honestly.
It might have been, but I
can't remember.
I'm a big Andrews guy.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is the connection that him and Lamar seem to have and how much they seem to enjoy playing with each other. That makes me so high on that. And I think that's important. I think, it's one of those things. Lamar gets them there, and Mark Andrews finishes a lot of those a lot of those touchdown drives. I'm going Mark Andrews.
I think I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson here. I think I'm going to switch it up for this one. Just how much TJ Hawkinson was utilized in Minnesota after the trade from Detroit really was eye-opening for him. We all knew that was there for him in an offense that was built to feed him. The Lions offense just wasn't that. And he was phenomenal in Minnesota numbers-wise. So I think I would take Hawkinson, banking on the fact that he's going to do a full season of that, 8-game sample size that he had last year.
And he was a monster in those 8 games, no doubt about it.
And Mark Andrews had definitely had more of a down year last year. Wouldn't say bad year by any means, but like we all thought he'd for sure be top 3 tight end last year. And I don't know if he was top 5. I think Goddard was in there.
I'm not sure, but wasn't he
probably
hurt
was
for a
top
little
5.
year?
I think he was. He missed a few. He
But
definitely
then
missed at least
there's
a few
Huntley
games.
that you got to take into account.
Yeah, that's
Lamar
true. Lamar did miss quite a few
Huntley
games.
was his QB for a long time
couple
that
games.
stretch.
That's true, yeah. Okay, last one, quarterback.
This one's fun.
And this is I didn't do any lower guys. Maybe next week we'll do
Maybe I can do
the
some
same
lower guys.
thing. Yeah, just lower tier guys. Who you taking? Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts?
Man.
These guys are right
They're
there
right
as
there.
QB 2 and 3 in ADP wise.
Let me get it started with you can't go wrong. This is like situation, like every situation we've talked about.
Yeah.
There's no wrong
These are all
choice.
good players.
Like they're all going to be solid at least. But Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, who do I think will have the better year? I'm a big fan of Josh Allen's use. I think the way they use him, the 55 passes a game.
Fantasy wise, yeah. Maybe not for
Actual.
injury
If I was
standpoint.
building a football team, I would never make my quarterback do
But for
that.
fantasy football purposes,
It's
you
awesome.
love it. Yeah,
It's awesome. But Jalen Hurts has that running ability. He's always involved, and he's always right there for the goal line touchdown. Like he's probably stealing it from the running back.
Right, and that little thing that the Eagles do that they were trying to get banned from the NFL.
It's an illegal play. It works 100% of the time. It should be illegal. They cheated the system with that one. Oh, man, that's so hard. I think I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I was leaning Josh Allen, but I think Jalen Hurts has the more weapons, and I think the team is just so nasty. Like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, those two are just so cold. And then you have his elite offensive line with his elite running ability.
DeAndre Swift now in that
Yeah,
offense.
now
as
Swift.
well.
Man, I think that, I'm going to go Jalen Hurts there.
Ooh, this one's tough. So I was in this situation today where I didn't like the guys on the board with the first pick of the third round. I've never been a take a quarterback early guy. Last year, though, I did say screw it, and I took Mahomes, and I'm so happy I did because like he was so good. But I took Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts in that, so I'm going to say Josh Allen. I think the usage obviously plays a huge role here. They both obviously have major usage here. So like you said, you can't go wrong, but Josh Allen not having a really good running back there and kind of only having Stephon Diggs as his only elite weapon currently. Obviously, Gabe Davis is serviceable. They draft Dalton Kincaid, so maybe he can be good. But I think Josh Allen has to do a lot of it on his own still, and I think that is why I would take him. But it also puts him at higher injury risk. So, but he also has shown that like he's kind of a freak in nature.
He like don't care,
and he might just not get hurt. So,
oh, you want to hurt me? I will play hurt and still do everything I do.
bonus one: Burrow or Lamar?
Lamar, the running ability, I think
Yeah.
just puts him over the top.
It's
But
tough.
if you want a guy who's just gonna be great, I mean,
Who's
Joe
gonna-
Burrow's
yeah,
gonna be
who's gonna
great.
throw 400 yards a game and 3 TDs.
Yeah, he's gonna be great.
I think Lamar's playing with that chip this year, though, so I would take Lamar as well.
I got one more.
Okay.
These guys, this is an interesting one. Alvin Kamara or Jamal Williams?
Oh man, that's so hard because we don't know about Kamara with the suspension. He like denied his appeal or he like pleaded
Not guilty.
innocent, to the charges. So that could be bad because if he would have pleaded guilty, I think he could have maybe gotten away with like community service or paying a large fine of some sort. But that actually really has nothing to do with the NFL's giving him a suspension. You know, that's a separate thing. But there's definitely a high like a bit.
Let's say they were both going to start week one. They both play, which is like unlikely.
But after that, do I know if Kamara's going to be like? Are you saying like he's
Yeah, I'm going to say he's good.
he's good the
smooth.
whole? Well, I'm
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
Kamara then.
I don't
Jamal
know.
Williams is not scoring 18 touchdowns this season. Like I hope that's like look, listen. I'm not saying this because he's not on the Lions anymore. And if he was still on the Lions, I would also be saying this. But Madden giving Jamal Williams at 85 overall is crazy. That is crazy. I love Jamal Williams. Like one of my favorite Lions of all time. I think you can say the same. I think all Lions fans can say the same. And yes, he broke Barry Sanders' touchdown record last year. Was it like one of the more skewed records ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we try to give him, like, were we purposely trying to get him them touchdowns? For sure. Madden, you're not telling me Jamal Williams is at 85 overall. That is crazy out of you, Madden.
That's ridiculous.
He's like at 82, like max.
Yeah, that's on the high end. That's still like
I love Jamal. Like, I love him. Like, I'm not being a hater. I promise I'm not a hater. But, like, that is absurd. Some of the names that were under him, oh, my God. I think I have it in my camera roll.
Pollard wasn't even a top 10 running back on the list.
Really?
Like Joe Mixon was higher
Where's
than
my
him.
phone?
Joe Mixon might be higher than him. But I'm so glad you feel that way because I think people expect this from Jamal Williams.
No.
Jamal Williams was in the perfect situation.
Yes.
There has never been a better situation. Hey, we're going to get to the goal line every time. Then we're just going to give it to you 3 times.
Not saying he, like, that was all he did, because he definitely, like, had some good, like, he had a great season.
Great.
He had
He
ran
was
for
awesome.
1,000 yards, you know?
He was
Like,
awesome. But, like, when you really look at it, will he repeat that? Which is where majority of his fantasy points came from, were from scoring the football in the end zone. No. He won't do it.
Absolutely not.
He won't.
I don't have it anymore, but like also we don't need to give Madden the time of day to talk about that because they're bad every single year. Every year we do this whole Madden rankings suck. Yeah, no shit.
They're
always
so
do.
bad.
Harrison Smith is a top 10 safety.
Dude.
Are you kidding me?
No
is
way.
Is it 2016?
Who's the number 2 wide receiver? Because it's somebody bad. It's like Jets.
Somebody bad?
It's like somebody who shouldn't be number 2.
I can't
remember who it is.
I don't remember either. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on from this. Fantasy football, super.
It's
exciting.
here, baby.
It's here. Training camps start. Technically, they started yesterday. We're recording this on Thursday, by the way.
Let's go.
Rookies had to report to training camp yesterday. Vets have to return or have to report by Saturday. And then the fans like training camps is more like when people can actually go is next Saturday, the 29th. So they get a week of no people being there. I think media can go at some point, but the whole like fan thing is the following weekend. So training camp is starting. And speaking of the Lions made a last second swoop in move, acquiring Denzel Mims, wide receiver of the New York Jets. Here are the implications of the trade. You're like, why would we make a trade? You know, we don't need to trade for a wide receiver. Just go sign freaking, I don't know, somebody.
Yeah, yeah, somebody.
Here's the trade. The Detroit Lions send a conditional 2025 6th-round pick to the Jets, and they send us Denzel Mims and a conditional 2025 7th-round pick. You're thinking, what are the conditions? You know,
I'm so curious.
I'd love to hear the terms and conditions. Well, good thing I read them. Basically, if Denzel Mims makes the roster, those picks go through. Like if he makes the 53-man roster, which I'm gonna assume he does, maybe not. But those picks go through. So we lose a 6th, gain a 7th. We move back a few spots in 2025. Boo-hoo. If he does not make the roster, nothing happens. Picks are gone.
It's no trade
never happened. Trade never happened.
It's actually awesome.
So you literally are getting like a month free trial of a guy basically who was a 2nd-round pick a few seasons ago in 2020 of the Jets. Hasn't gotten much opportunity in New York. The last few wide receivers, obviously Elijah Moore did not work out there, and Denzel Mims did not work out there. So that gives me a little bit of glimpse at like maybe it's not just Mims, maybe it's just what was going on there in New York. But he's a bigger receiver, 6'3". He has speed, plays mainly on the outside, but I think the thing that the Lions like about him is he's a run blocker. He's a very good run blocker. That's where he got a lot of snaps with New York. So why not take a free trial on him?
Yeah, he's elite. So good luck to the rest of the league.
Yep.
He's coming.
I'm drafting him high.
Denzel Mims. It's his time.
Yeah. Shout out Booher, by the way. Booher absolutely called this.
What a dog.
Because the Jets, I think, were going to like, they either like put him on the block, like said they wanted to trade him, or they like said they were going to cut him.
Yeah.
And then he made that like article that was like, should they sign or should they trade for Denzel Mims? And then that night they did. I was like, damn, Booher. Like,
dude, he be on that.
Like, he on that for
like,
real.
y'all think he's he's a Lions. No, he is a Lions reporter.
Yeah.
Like, this guy does it.
And
for
he
real.
on that for real. Like, he'll like, we'll get him back on here.
For
like,
sure. Booher's the GOAT.
Coming,
He's the
come
GOAT.
training camp time. Okay, let's talk about the running back situation actually before we move on to hoops.
And we're not going to move on to hoops after the running back situations. I got a thing.
Oh, really?
What's going on?
All right, so the running back situation that's going on. So the deadline for players that were franchise tagged to sign their extensions was last week. And Evan Ingram was the only guy who got tagged that actually signed it. So shout out to him because he was also threatening to not play under the tag, which I don't blame him. The franchise tag is really one of the weirder things in the NFL. It's also weird how you can franchise tag a guy several times. Kirk Cousins played under the franchise tag in Washington for several years in a row. So it's always been
Isn't that like a super cheap deal?
No, I think it's something to do with like the league average at your position or something. Or it's a good amount of money. It's definitely not like you're getting gypped by any means. Like these guys are making
I thought it was
dollar.
they're getting gypped,
but they're getting gypped by not signing
For sure.
an extension because now they have playing on a contract year has got to be stressful. You know,
have a good year, you're done. And in the
especially
NFL,
in the NFL because like
the
you get
turnaround
hurt,
is crazy.
You get hurt. Oh well, guess what? We forgot that you existed because you got hurt. You know, so playing under a contract year several years in a row cannot be fun. So the other 3 players that did not get tagged or that did get tagged and did not sign extensions were all running backs, and that was Saquon Barkley. I'm already forgetting Tony Pollard
Dalvin
and
Cook.
No, Dalvin Cook just got released.
Oh, yeah.
There's another one. Why? Oh, Josh Jacobs. Sorry. Those three, and Josh Jacobs had a phenomenal season last year. Saquon Barkley had a phenomenal season last year. Tony Pollard had a phenomenal season last year. Not just those three, though. Austin Eckler, earlier this offseason, requested a trade from the Chargers because he is going into the final year of his contract, and they tried to do an extension, couldn't agree to terms, and he requested a trade, and guess what? No one wanted to trade for him because no one wants to pay older running backs. This is one of the weirdest situations in sports right now because running back is such an important position in the NFL and such a glorified position, but it is the most replaceable position in the NFL to bring in guys that are rookies and they can come in immediately and be impact players on cheaper deals, 4-year rookie contract.
Playing for something to prove.
If you draft one in the first round like we did with Jahmyr Gibbs, you get that 5th-year option. So it's teams have started to realize the financial decisions behind running backs, and it's tough because these guys are so elite and they're important to the team.
For sure. They're a lot of times like a Saquon Barkley. He's the engine that makes that team run. Without him, they still need fuel, but he's the engine. He's the thing that gets the wheels turning. And it's so odd to see teams like, we still just can't do it, man. We think somebody else might be able to do it. But we've seen it happen so many times. My number one example, and of course I'm going to say my number one example and not think of the name, the Dallas Cowboys running back who went
Zeke?
to the, before Zeke.
DeMarco Murray?
Yeah, DeMarco Murray was like great. They were like, no, we're not paying you.
Yeah.
And then he was ass. Like he was terrible.
It just happened. The 27-year-old hill, a lot of running
Real
backs
thing,
can't
man.
get over it. They fall off. Derrick Henry's going into that this year. Guys like McCaffrey, I think, are a little bit different. They kind of don't fit into that type of running back.
Yeah, they play a different style.
Right. And Eckler, I think he's older than 27 already. But it's just a really weird spot because it's all these running backs. Jonathan Taylor tweeted about it. Najee Harris tweeted about it. Dalvin Cook is still not on a freaking team.
Which is crazy.
It is really, Zeke Elliott is not on a team. Leonard Fournette is not on a team. It is really a weird situation right now with the running backs in the NFL. And I don't know what the solution is. I don't think there is going to be a solution. Saquon Barkley today was asked about it in a press conference, and he was being straight up. He was just like, I'm not the guy to sit out from my team. I'm not that. You ask all my teammates, I'm not that guy. But if they want me to, if I'm actually going to prove something, I'm going to say F them and let's see how they do without me and show them how valuable I really am to the team.
Which is
He's
facts.
like, am I willing to do that though? I don't know. Is it going to come to that for these guys? It's hard, and this sounds really bad coming from a guy sitting on a couch in my basement right now talking about these players. But man, this really affects fantasy football.
I did not think that's where that was going.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that important,
Yeah, in the grand scheme of life.
But for guys like us, wow, is this important?
Man, do I need these guys so I can know where they're going, where they're playing.
Yeah. And
That's
I
so
understand
funny.
that, a lot of people are like, oh, these guys are complaining about making $5 million less dollars a year. It's not really about that. It's about resetting the running back market. It's about how every running back is just not paid up to the tier of the offensive lineman, to the wide receivers. Wide receivers are very high paid nowadays. Obviously, quarterbacks are paid an absurd amount. Running backs is definitely one of the least paid positions in the NFL for how much it's involved in the game and the injury risk that comes with being a running back as well.
Do you think it takes less skill? Oh, it's so hard. Never mind.
Are you doing offensive line with running backs? What's harder?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Me either.
Because you can say either one, but also when you're 6'7", 330
So
pounds
different. You can't go play running
compared
back.
to 5'8" and 180.
Yeah, it's so different. Wide receiver is clearly the more skilled position.
Oh, you're talking about wide receiver.
No, I was talking about O-line because I thought it was
okay.
closer because wide receiver it's clear, QB it's clear.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, but O-line you can't compare those guys. They're just so different
It's
builds.
just different. Yeah,
people.
exactly.
They're not even
just
similar
large
people.
humans.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it for the running back situation.
We're gonna do a round of trivia early today.
Oh.
So if you're somebody who usually skips out, you're not skipping this one.
Yeah, listen.
You have no idea
Don't
when
worry,
this
I'm
trivia
pretty good
ends.
at trivia, so
Better not
I'll
skip ahead.
I'm knocking it out.
Can you name every Lions wide receiver to have over 1,000 yards in a season since 2000?
Ooh, okay. Do you go on StatMuse for this?
Yes.
Nice.
'Cause I'm like that
There's
for
a lot
real.
of them. There's a lot of things you can look up on there.
And it's cool, but I low key, I don't like how half it's locked.
I know, yeah, you have to pay for, like, you can't look up lists that are really long because, yeah,
It'll block out the bottom
you.
field.
You have to do it.
But like I still knew the guys. It just didn't like it still had the guys' names. It just didn't tell me their stats.
Okay. So 1,000-yard receivers is definitely not as crazy as like 1,000-yard rushers. So there could be some obscure guys on here. How many
I'll tell you
guys
this.
are we
Yeah.
looking
1,
at?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys.
Okay, that's much less than I thought.
Much less.
Much less. Okay.
Oh, but a lot of guys done it more than once. You got to think a guy stays around for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's your 1,000-yard receiver
yeah.
for 4 straight years.
Okay, so obviously Calvin Johnson's going to be on
Yep,
here.
Calvin Johnson.
Amon-Ra St. Brown last season.
Yes, sir.
I think he might have done it the season prior too.
No.
Oh, okay. Kenny Galladay.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna guess Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I was like, he probably did, but okay. So I'm halfway there. Looking back now, nothing's
back.
gonna get in the way.
You got some
Singing Big Time Rush.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
Is that big time?
Okay.
Big fan.
4 more guys. Okay. So like, I got a wild guess here. Is Nate Burleson on here?
No.
Shout out to Nate Burleson.
Shout out that
He's
guy.
on ESPN now, I believe. You ever hear the story about Nate Burleson?
Isn't he the
broke
guy
his
who-
arm.
Oh.
He was a Lions wide receiver. Broke his arm reaching. He was driving a car, right, solo, and he like made a turn, and he had like a pizza in the passenger seat, and it like when he like turned, it like flew like over onto the ground. So he like reached to go get it and like crashed his car and broke his arm. It was like in the middle of the season.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know.
That is such
Like
a
I
bad
should laugh
way.
at a car accident.
Yeah.
It was a solo car. Like, yeah, I think he just put it in the ditch or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Broke the arm.
broke his arm though.
Who was the
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, who's the Lions running back who walked on and he was like a security guard within the stadium? Like he literally showed up to like a tryout and he made the team.
Gosh, was it Joik Bell?
Yeah,
he was,
I think
he
it was
he went
Joik
to
Bell.
Wayne State.
Yeah, I
it
think
had
it was
to have been
Joik
him
Bell.
then, yeah. Shout out to Joik Bell.
Shout out him. You got 4 more wide
Okay, yeah,
receivers.
you're right, I do.
You have 3 in the 2000s. The one played in the 2010s.
Okay. 3 in the 2000s, 1 played in the 2010s. Oh, so I have like there was a couple bust Lions wide receivers that might have snuck out 1,000-yard season, like Roy Williams.
Yeah, he did. He did. I think
Roy
he actually had
Williams,
2.
Shout out Roy Williams. He was like a 3rd overall pick in the draft, 2nd or 3rd.
7th.
Oh, really? 7th overall. Okay.
That's what I got written.
Okay. Okay, so Roy Williams he wasn't the 2010s dude though.
No,
right? Okay,
2006
just
was the
making
year
sure.
he did it. The first year.
Ooh, I didn't think about. Is there any tight ends on here?
No,
I was gonna
didn't
say,
put tight ends. I only did receivers.
I don't even think they would have one. Like
Yeah,
no
like-
shot Brandon Pettigrew.
Hawk would be the only dude to come close.
Yeah, Ebron maybe, probably not. Okay,
might have 1,000 drops in a
Oh,
year.
Golden Tate.
Golden Tate.
Yeah,
that's
duh.
your 2010s guy.
Duh.
Now
Okay,
you're
so I'm missing one guy.
Yeah, one guy. And I'll give you a hint. He played in the 90s, majority of his career, but did it in 2001 for the Lions.
Herman Moore.
No,
That's definitely too late for Herman Moore. Shout out.
this guy was drafted in 1994. I'll give you the year he's drafted too. And
Man,
he was
so
actually
he was on like
he
the
was
good Lions team, or no? I mean, this had been like the end of the good Lions team. Oh man, I struggle with like the '90s Lions, like post Barry Lions.
Gotcha.
I struggle with that.
He was a first round pick. He played till 2005.
Not Charles Rogers, right?
No.
Okay.
Nope. Was he a bust receiver?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Went to Michigan State. Rest in peace to Charles Rogers.
Oh,
Man, this is tough.
I can tell you, I have heard of this guy. The other 2006 guy. 2006 had 2 of them, Roy Williams and the other guy.
Oh, really?
But he was undrafted.
I know there's some Lions dudes that are listening to this that are just like screaming it, and I should know it,
I don't know,
but I don't think I'm gonna get it.
2001, 21st overall pick. He played for the Chiefs and 49ers after, if that helps. He played like 8 years on the Lions and went to the Chiefs and 49ers. If that does anything, I don't think it will.
Yeah, you can just tell me.
Johnny Morton
Okay.
in 2001.
Yep.
In 2006, Mike Furrey. Furrey.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was the only year he did it. He was
Don't know that
He was
guy.
undrafted from Northern Iowa. Shout out that guy.
I know
1,000-yard
Horton.
season.
Don't know
Morton.
I don't know Furry. And I don't like furries. All right. That's where we'll end. That. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out the Lions, though.
Yeah, shout out the Lions.
We're gonna have JMO, not this year, because this is freaking stupid suspension, but maybe the next year he could get it.
Dude, why wouldn't he? It takes 10 catches.
11 games.
All he needs is 10 catches.
Can you do it in 11 games?
10 catches.
Or no, it'd be 10. No, it'd be 11 games.
Yeah, he could do it in 11. You'd have to have 100 yards a game.
Yeah, so that's
You'd have to be pretty unreal.
It's quite like a record-breaking season.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's talk about the Detroit Pistons. Where are we at, by the way, in this podcast?
45 minutes in.
So right now, the
love
Pistons are in a weird situation. Do the Pistons have too much depth? That's a really weird thing to say for the team that was the worst team in the NBA last year and didn't add a lot of guys, you know? We're basically bringing back the squad.
Do we have too many good players on the worst team in basketball?
And that's the problem. I think that we have too many players that deserve minutes, but they're all not that good, like in the grand scheme of things. If you did not know, if you just woke up from a coma, the Pistons acquired Monty Morris and Joe Harris via trade this offseason. They also drafted Asar Thompson and Marcus Sasser, who dropped 40 points in the last game of Summer League, by the way. We didn't mention that because that happened in between our last podcast. Shout out to Marcus Sasser for doing that.
For real.
So those are 4 guys that all probably deserve minutes. So let's just go through the depth chart right now of the Pistons. This is my depth chart that I made personally. So if you were saying like, oh, he should be above him, that's just how I did it.
And you don't have a podcast.
I mean, someone might have a podcast.
Yeah, I guess you
listen to
could.
this. So point guard, Cade Cunningham, Monty Morris, Killian Hayes. I would say that, and we're gonna go through and say guys that like for sure will be in the rotation. I think Cade and Monty Morris for sure will be in the rotation.
1,000% agree.
So that's 2 right there. Shooting guard, Jaden Ivey, Alec Burks, Marcus Sasser. I think Jaden Ivey and Alec Burks will for sure be in the rotation.
Yeah, I think it'd be maybe not Alec Burks, low key.
Really?
Maybe
think
not.
so?
I think he's good enough to, but like
Right.
we might just choose like. But we got to showcase him. Like he can be
I
traded.
mean, and he was pretty solid last year. Like,
And
he was a really good
He
bench
always
scorer.
is.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe
I think he is. So there's 4. Sorry, Killian and Sasser so far. Small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic, Asar Thompson, Joe Harris. Once
gotta
again,
play.
I think Bogdanovic and Asar Thompson are for sure in the rotation next year.
I think there's a great chance Joe Harris.
So Joe Harris, I think, is an iffy one, so I don't know if we should count him. He's iffy because there's just a lot of
Right now, we've only
minutes
named
there.
6. There are 3 spots though.
That's true.
6 rotational guys.
But how many you ideally run 9? You know,
9 or 10, yeah.
10 is fine
For a young team.
You don't want to rock a full 5 or 5 like Dwayne Casey did his last 5 years in Detroit. That was the one thing about Casey I did not like.
I've
Just
never.
the platoon swap.
Unless you literally had that Kentucky team that in like 2014
Hey,
that
maybe
did it.
we do with this depth.
We don't.
Power forward.
We got to win more games.
Isaiah Stewart, Isaiah Livers, Marvin Bagley III. I think
where it gets
Isaiah
ugly.
Stewart is for sure in the rotation next year. I want to say Isaiah Livers is. I really do, but I can't confirm that.
I'm still on that train too. I'm still on the. I think he's going to be great.
I think he has a better chance to be in the rotation than Joe Harris does.
I think so too. He's definitely.
But I'm not counting either of them.
Definitely a Troy Weaver guy.
Yeah,
I bet you he'll
exactly.
be a Monty guy.
So there's 7 guys.
Dude, there's no way Isaiah Livers is not loved by Monty Williams.
Oh, he definitely will be.
Yeah, I think you might be able to toss him. No, you can't. He
We
doesn't
can't
have
yet.
played.
So Marvin Bagley III,
No.
he might have to be in it because of the contract. He's making $12 to $15 million. It's somewhere in there. Like, he might have to be in that. I think he has to be in it, honestly. He
I think
can't get benched.
Yeah, facts. Like Livers is probably 3 in all
Yeah.
honesty, sadly.
So there's 8. And then center, you have Jalen Duren and James Wiseman, both for sure. James Wiseman, like, is kind of a maybe. He played Summer League. Like,
No, he'll play.
so there's 10. And we have 3 maybes. And that's the whole team.
And it's Joe Harris.
Joe Harris, Isaiah
Killian.
Livers, and Killian Hayes wasn't. Joe Harris, Isaiah Livers, and those were the only 2 maybes. And then Killian and Sasser. Sasser was a first-round pick. Killian's going into a contract year. Like, we have too many guys. on the Bun and Cardigan show, James Edwards keeps saying that he thinks another trade is going to happen. He like keeps reiterating that. And it's not going to be like oh my God, the Pistons have made a great trade. It's going to be a trade that the fans don't like. It's going to be a trade that's like Killian for like a second. And we also give up a second, you know? Like, it's not going to be a fun one.
Take him.
Marvin Bagley, and we're giving up a second for nothing, you know? Like, it'll be something like that. So, I don't know who's like the odd man out, because Asor has to play based on what we saw. He could come in and be our best perimeter defender day one. I think Isaiah Livers has to play for his 3-and-D potential that he has. We saw that the development of guys like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, even Josh Okogie last year, Torrey Craig. I'm not saying that like Isaiah Livers is going to reach that level of Mikal Bridges, but he is that type of player. Though,
like he's got the mold. That's
exactly.
For damn sure.
So I think he needs to get an opportunity. It's tough.
I thought this was fun, and I love the doing this order because, like you said, we have so many good guys. Something interesting that was brought up on through the wire was an expansion draft. There's a chance we look for, there's a lot of talent in the league right now, and there's never been a better time to expand than right now. Seattle needs a team, Vegas needs a team, and you put a team on the East, or
it is going to
slide
happen.
Somebody.
Yeah, like
maybe you slide Denver into the Eastern Conference or whatever. You only get to protect 8 guys. Who are we protecting?
Ooh, that's good.
Who are we protecting?
The expansion thing is going to happen. Like Silver has talked about it several times. I think that they're waiting for like the new TV deal to kick in and everything before
a little more money
before they can, which obviously makes sense. So give it like 2 years and there will be at least one team. I hope they do both at the same time, because then it would make the draft way more fun.
For sure.
Okay, so
and we'd have to become a fan of one of them. You have to pick.
Okay, but here's the thing: is sometimes the expansion draft helps you get off bad contracts.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, but the guys have to get picked though, I guess. So,
and typically only one player per team. I think
you're right. Yeah, I don't know how it works with
they
two.
They can't strip your whole team
with 2 expansion teams though. I don't know how that works.
Might be 2.
It might be 2.
Team.
It would that would make. I don't really know though.
Me either.
Okay, so no, it's probably still 1 per team because you get 15-man roster. Sorry,
30
I'm
teams.
still going off here. Okay, so let's go with like the obvious ones.
Yep.
Cade, Ivy, Beef Stew, Jalen Duren, Asar.
We got 3 spots
That's
left.
5. I think Bogdanovich gets kept.
Yep.
That's 6.
You can't let him just go.
Marcus Sasser was a first-round pick. I think he gets kept. You don't just let that
You
guy
have
go.
1 spot now.
I know. So we're choosing between Monty Morris, Killian Hayes, Burks, Joe Harris. Okay, I'm not counting Joe Harris.
Bagley,
Isaiah Livers,
Wiseman.
James Wiseman.
Holy shit.
Personally, if you ask me, you're picking between James Wiseman and Isaiah Livers.
I agree. I totally agree.
I think you're fine with losing Killian. I think you're fine with losing Joe Harris. I think you're definitely fine losing Marvin Bagley just because of the contract. Monty Morris, definitely you would like to have, but he probably gets picked in an expansion draft. So you're basically choosing between Wiseman and Livers. You traded Sadiq Bey to get James Wiseman, and I think that could make a huge play in also whether or not Wiseman plays a lot this year, because you don't want to look back at that and be like, fuck.
We didn't do it. We didn't even try.
Yeah.
I'm going Wiseman.
But Isaiah Livers, man. I'm a huge Isaiah Livers guy.
So funny.
And it's just tough. Oh. I think I'd take Livers. And take the risk that Bagley doesn't get picked, so he just is your backup 5.
I think there's a higher chance that you keep Wiseman and Livers doesn't get picked.
It could. Yeah, I agree. That definitely.
So
could
I think
happen.
that
Wiseman for sure gets picked.
Yeah, like then Livers, there's a pretty good chance. I don't know though, dude.
It just depends.
People love that guy.
But also, if you want, it's so hard.
So hard.
But also, like you said, if only one guy from each team gets taken, Monty Morris is getting taken. Like, someone's gonna take him to be their veteran point guard. You know.
Good point.
So
we're
good.
fine.
Yeah, just take Monty.
As long as Monty Morris is in there, and we can have whoever else.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. We got so many topics today.
I
didn't think this was going to take this long. By the way.
I love this.
I thought I was like struggling to put stuff on the list.
Good thing
today.
the small forward list sucks.
That's a good. The small forwards list is going to be quick. And honestly, I have something else we're going to talk about before we even get there. In between these two things,
we might start the small forward list at an hour and a half.
Okay. So every year we talk about, this team's going to make a jump this year. You know, like these young teams, this is the season that they make a jump. Well, guess what? If them teams are making a jump, that means some teams got to fall. So we're going to list off 3 teams that we think are going to take a fall in wins this season based on their wins last year. Now, I'm not thinking, they're going to win 2 less games, so I'm counting them. Like, I'm thinking they're going to take a significant 5 to 10 to even more game dip than last year. I wrote down 5 because I didn't want to do all the same ones as you. So I'm just going to not do the same ones as you if you say them. But I'll let you go ahead and go first.
You know what team's got a lot of issues? They're pretty good. A lot of issues, though. Man, those Philadelphia 76ers just can't get it right, man. They just keep screwing it up. James Harden is not playing in a Sixers uniform next year. He's not. I mean, we've seen him do this multiple times. He's not going to play. Joel Embiid, at some point, is not going to be happy. Like, I know he went on. He's like, I want to be Kobe. I want to be. Right. He also went on immediately after. It was like, I was trolling.
I know.
And it's like, what's going on? I could see some serious, I don't know what the word is, but like just negativity in that locker room and in the arena. In Philly, the fans are crazy. You start sliding, those fans will turn their back on you pretty quickly. We saw what happened with Ben Simmons after one pass and a lot of other things.
Yeah, exactly.
However, I think Philly's a team that definitely takes a fall.
Yeah, especially at 54 wins last year. I mean, that's a high number to try and get back to. I think we could look at a 45-ish win team next year potentially, for sure, if Harden is gone, because the return's not going to be good unless you can get Dame. Obviously, if you get Dame, things change. The Sixers were the number 1 team that I wrote down, so I will skip them for now. I'm going to take another obvious one out of your way so I can steal them. The Washington Wizards are taking a dip next year. That's so obvious. 35 wins last year. They're lucky to get 25 this year, being honest. That's coming from the fan of the team of the worst team in the NBA. We all know why. I mean, the best player is Jordan Poole. He's going to put up 30 shots a night. He's going to average 30 on poor efficiency, probably.
Bad efficiency.
Kuzma's still there, I guess. So, like, there's a world where, like, because Beal was hurt. So there's a world, I guess, where they're solid. I just don't think they're going to be. They're taking a dip.
This is a team that is interesting because I think they've got a target on their back right away heading into the next season. Having a target on your back is not a good thing.
No.
Especially when you're the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant's out for the first 25 games of the year. Now that becomes an issue. There's your motor. There's your moxie that you carry yourself. He is the Memphis Grizzlies. You've got a target on your back because the way y'all act and everything.
Dylan Brooks is gone.
Like, what's going to happen to this team? I could see them taking a massive dip, and a big reason because of Ja Morant with the 25-game suspension. I could easily see them having a losing record after.
I thought about putting them down. I think they had 51 wins last year, so I definitely could see that. Yeah, but the last 2 seasons, I have predicted the Grizzlies' downfall. I'd put them in like 7th or 8th in the standings.
How's that
and they've
work?
been the 2 seed the last like 3 years. So I decided to avoid that. Maybe Marcus Smart can hold it afloat until Ja gets
hold it
back.
together. P.O.P.
Yeah.
Hold it down.
Kind of a surprising one here. But the next one, the Toronto Raptors, I think, take a fall. Now, they were 41-41 last year, so they were 500. So, like, them taking a fall as being below 500 by a good amount. You lost Fred VanVleet. You did acquire Dennis Schroeder. You assigned him, which is a solid replacement. Obviously, he's not on Fred VanVleet's level. But the Pascal Siakam trade rumors have been around. The OG Anunoby trade rumors have been around. Which, by the way, Pistons, like, if there's still a world where you can go get OG, like, do it. And you still can't trade picks, so, like, probably not. But anyways, I just feel like at some point, like this whole Raptors situation, unless you don't trade for Dame, which they do have the assets to, they're gonna fall off, and I think that's a team that could.
For sure. Portland's another team that could, depending on what happens. Right. There, but I can't.
They
predict
did only
that.
win like 30
That's a great
games
point.
though, so like, who knows?
My last one is a sour one. It's the Utah Jazz.
I also had the Jazz.
That actually blows.
No, I have more. I have another one.
Utah, I think their problem is the bottom teams are now ready to start winning.
Yeah.
Utah is not. Utah is in no spot to yeah, we should still be trying to win. It's like, you guys just don't really have the big guy yet. Like, you have Lowry, who's a great piece.
For sure.
But you can also be a great piece on the worst team in the league and still be really, really good.
Yeah.
You can still build around him. So that's where I see, like, I mean, we look at these young teams who are going to start taking wins. The Rockets got better this year. The Magic should be a lot better this year. So
OKC
the Spurs
for sure should. The Spurs.
the Spurs are done being bad. The Pistons are going to make a jump this year. So I just see Utah falling because of those reasons. They're just they don't have the reason to start winning like the rest of these young teams.
That's why I'm so excited to our standings predictions because like that is like
the young teams are all in
they're
position.
all gonna be better.
All 4 of them.
Yeah,
I'm going to say the 4 are Magic, Houston, Pistons, and San Antonio.
Yeah,
all 4 of them are taking a jump for sure.
And then you have the Thunder that are going to take a large jump.
Yeah, they're like a different
but they
tier
already were.
Of young
they were like
team.
500 last year, anyways. Yeah, I also had the Jazz. I thought that was a good one. They had 37 wins last year, so like not a lot already, but I think that they could fall off again. You know, they could use a top pick in the draft.
They
for
really
sure,
could.
You know, even though this upcoming draft isn't like star-studded by any means. My last one. I'm between 2 teams here. I'm going to cancel out the Bulls. The Bulls, I could just see them being the same exact team next year. They won 40 games, so like they will.
That sounds money for the Bulls.
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
like a money number to hit.
My last one is the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this one has a lot to do with they won 45 games last year, half of those being with KD and Kyrie. But I just don't see – this team has a lot of solid players. That team, like if they had a star, they'd be good. You know, Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal. They signed Lonnie Walker. Cam Johnson, I still think, is a glorified role player. Like –
Do they have
Dinwiddie is like a glorified role player.
Claxton. You have the big
yeah,
names.
exactly. Like they don't have a star, but they have a lot of good role guys. So they could definitely be a team that's like below 500 at the deadline, ships all these guys away, or they make a big trade because they have assets. So they're kind of in a weird spot. But 45 wins last year, I don't see Mikal Bridges carrying the squad to 40 wins, if I'm being honest.
Me either.
Okay, before we get into top 10 small forwards, we do need to talk a little bit about baseball because I thought this was interesting. So right now, Shohei Ohtani and the Angels, I talked a little bit about this on the Tigers episode. They're in a really weird situation where Ohtani's going to become a free agent. The Los Angeles Angels have fallen out of the wild card race. Mike Trout is injured for the next like 6 to 8 weeks. You probably got to trade Shohei Ohtani if you want to get, because he's not going to come back, you know, like, but it's going to be the craziest trade ever, maybe in the history of sports. But that's not what I'm talking about. Like, we're going to talk more about that as the trade deadline amps up because it's the 31st. So, God, that's only 11 days away. That's really weird.
I didn't even know that.
Shohei gets traded, though.
Dude, that's Babe Ruth getting moved. That's Michael Jordan.
Every team should throw an offer.
And a bag.
Every team should every team will throw a bag for sure. But, like, even the Tigers should scrounge up a trade offer. It's not going to be a good one, but, like, just do it.
Yeah, try.
Why
Please
not?
Try.
But what I want to talk about is this relates to the trade. So Shohei Ohtani has a large amount of money placed on him on sportsbooks to be the American League MVP this season. As we know, we did our predictions at the beginning of the season, picking the MVPs. If you did not know, since this is not a baseball podcast, so I'm not expecting you to, there are 2 MVPs in the MLB, the American League MVP and the National League MVP. On these betting sites, when you bet, you are betting on the American League MVP and the National League MVP. Shohei Ohtani currently plays in the American League and is going to win the MVP regardless of what league he is in. So what if Shohei Ohtani gets traded to the National League and wins the National League MVP? And all these people placed money on Shohei Ohtani to be the American League MVP. I got a notification about that earlier, and I was like, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, what do the sports books do?
What do you do? Do you just refund the money? Do you say that the bet hit because he like did win MVP, but also like he didn't win MVP on the one that you picked?
You have to null and void the something weird happened.
It's just voided. You don't you don't win money, but you don't lose money. Like,
but it just kind of sucks because you're missing a year of it.
And also, you picked him to be the MVP. Like, and he would have, you know, like obviously he clearly would have won the MVP. I'm trying to see if I still have that notification to see like what it was titled, but
you can tell me dumb question. So. Like if I just ask it, just say dumb. Like how many games have the A played so far into the league or into the year?
A little bit over 80. They're like around 90.
Right around halfway.
Probably around 90. They're past halfway. Yeah, let's say 90 games.
He plays 100 games in the AL. Like, can he win the MVP in the AL?
That's what I was trying to figure out because, like, I don't think this has happened. Like, you know, like the dude
Could
that's
he just win both
the dude that's
MVPs?
gonna win the MVP never gets traded. You know, like that
Facts.
just doesn't happen. And he's gonna win the MVP.
Jokic
like,
getting traded, like, or
exactly
Embiid?
halfway through the season, like that doesn't happen. And I'm also like really, I want to see what his odds is to win the MVP right now. I wonder if they've changed because
What are
of
his NL?
what if
league
they
odds?
like there probably isn't any, right? Because he doesn't play there. Like it's such a weird situation. I don't think that he can win the. He's gonna win the MVP of the league he's in. He can't win. There's no way he can win the AL MVP if he's in the NL, even if he played more.
It's just silly.
You're in the NL.
Yeah.
What if he just win them both?
That's what I was thinking. Like, why can't he be the first ever MVP of MLB?
I mean, like he's got to be. He leads the league in home runs right now. He has more home runs right now at this point in the season than Aaron Judge did last year. Aaron Judge broke the American League record for home runs last year. Like, is that not a little bit crazy? So let me look at award winners.
Isn't it crazy that we might actually be watching the GOAT, like, of baseball? Like,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay, so right now,
It's too early
Shohei
to say.
Ohtani is minus 850 to win the American League MVP, which being at minus 850 in July when baseball ends in October is pretty absurd.
When you've got it locked up like that.
Exactly. But I bet it was higher. I bet they're like, oh my God, what if he's not in the American League? Like, you know, it's a very, very interesting situation. And it would suck if Ronald Acuna doesn't win the NL MVP because Shohei gets traded there, you know, because
Oh,
he's
that would
having a
suck.
phenomenal season. He's probably going to steal like 70 bags. Okay, that was it for baseball rant. So let's get into it. We ready to do it?
Top 10 small forwards
Top
in the
10 small
NBA.
forwards. Let's get into it. This list is weird because the positions were weird. We decided that we're saying screw Basketball Reference. We're doing our own for the top guys at least. Jimmy Butler's not a power forward. LeBron is not a power forward. He started next to them power forwards last year. I know Caleb Martin started a lot for the Heat, but like Jimmy Butler's not a power forward. We're not doing that.
I'm sick and tired. Next year, for when all these podcasts start doing their top 10
Yeah.
list, you can just reference our position list.
Yeah.
Because we're going to create one.
We will make one
Because
website.
these are screwed up.
They're so bad.
How do you get them so wrong?
I get it. Like, I understand why you're doing it like that, but it's still just, it's wrong. The only big ones that, like, aren't on this list that maybe could be, like, Anthony Edwards was on our shooting guards list. He was a small forward last year. But Larry Markkinen will be on the power forwards list. Kevin Durant will be on the power forwards list, as he's been the last few years, so no need to switch that up. All right, top 10 small forwards in the NBA. Give me your honorable mentions.
My honorable mentions. If you notice, I'm wearing a Raptors shirt because OG and Scotty Barnes both on the honorable mentions
Okay.
list. So I had to give them some love, man. I love you guys. Listen, y'all,
Bro, those are
Raptors,
like our enemies.
but like
We don't have Dwayne Casey as our coach
You're
anymore,
right. Yeah,
though,
we
so.
don't. I don't feel that way like that. But like OG and Scotty, I mess with you guys.
You got a couple Raptor shirts.
I have two of them. I got
yeah,
the purple
that
one.
purple one. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're both cool, but
Yeah.
like 2 shirts is like
It's a little
a
much.
little much.
I agree.
Like, are you a fan?
No, no. I'm
Okay.
not.
Just those two.
Just those. Oh, and
mentions?
Franz Wagner. I
Oh,
really
okay.
wanted to slide Franz there at 10, but I decided he probably hadn't proven enough.
Okay.
But like, I do think next year I expect him to be on this list.
Yeah.
I can say that.
My honorable mentions are OG Anunoby, Michael Porter Jr., Tobias Harris, and I'm throwing Keegan Murray as an honorable mention over Scotty Barnes. I think
Gotcha.
Keegan Murray can make this list quite soon. But yeah, those are my 4 honorable mentions. Number 10.
My number 10 is Michael Porter Jr. We know what he does. Mr. Never Swing the Rock. It's one of the best nicknames
Hilarious.
ever. Like, because it's so true. You can watch it and you're like, oh, yeah, I see where he gets the nickname from. It's pretty simple. I haven't seen him swing it once.
He had them 5 assists in that playoff game, career high.
And everybody went crazy.
That one dude on TikTok that just like every game just posts the Michael Porter Jr. not swinging the rock highlights. Hilarious.
so
dude.
funny. That
So
guy is
funny.
one of the best
'Cause
creators
he
on
doesn't
TikTok.
like he just rises.
We need to know. I think it's Joe something, Joe Star or something. I follow
I don't
him.
know.
We'll get his name for a shout out. Like he needs one from
yeah,
us.
exactly. He definitely has more followers than we do.
Easily.
My number 10 is Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. I put him on over Michael Porter Jr. Franz Wagner last year was phenomenal in his sophomore season. And he kind of gets undershadowed because he plays for the Magic, and also plays behind Paulo Banchero, who got a lot of the shine last year. But Franz does it all on both ends. He is really like a do-it-all type of player. I mean, he facilitates, he defends, he rebounds, he shoots well. He was like that at Michigan, so obviously we got to see him a lot earlier in advance and a lot of him. and it's cool to see him doing what he is now because I've always liked Franz, not his brother though.
Yeah, he's just straight up efficient as hell. He's so much fun to watch because he does it so easily and so smoothly, and then he'll dunk on you every once in a while.
36% from 3 last year. I mean, that's pretty solid. I assume it was on a good amount of attempts. It was 18 a game.
That Magic team's looking scary.
They are.
That is a scary team. My number 9, Andrew Wiggins, the guy with the down year. I mean, but it's like a down year for Andrew Wiggins because the team didn't succeed, because that's how we measure Andrew Wiggins' success.
Right.
It's not statistics. It's none of that. It's all about how well the team's doing, and I don't even know how much he contributes to winning. I don't even know if I like Andrew Wiggins.
Wow, just going in. Remember when Andrew Wiggins, like, there was like that, he had that game in the finals and it was like, is Andrew Wiggins about to steal Steph Curry's finals MVP? Like, stop, dude. We're not doing this again.
Everybody wants to make a story. Everyone
just wants Steph to not get a finals MVP. My number 9 is also Andrew Wiggins. He missed a good amount of the season last year due to like personal off the court issues. But he still was pretty good. He shot 40% from 3 on 17 points per game. But definitely just didn't have as much of an impact this year as he did last year. Like you said, the Warriors were just not as good. But he also missed a lot of games. So he's my number 9.
My number 8 is Mikal Bridges. I think he's my favorite young small forward in the league. He is, totally. He got to Brooklyn last year.
Over Osar Thompson.
No. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Not excluding the Pistons.
Livers.
Excluding Pistons.
Kidding me? Over Franz Wagner, Michigan fan.
Mikal's a beast. I mean, 26.1 points per game once he got to Brooklyn last year. Do you know how many games Mikal Bridges played last year?
Probably 83.
83.
Yeah, I did
That's
know.
just unreal.
I remember seeing that.
It's just unreal. It's like one of the coolest stats ever.
It is.
Shout out Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. I don't have Mikal Bridges here, surprisingly. My number 8 is Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton has fallen on the small forwards list. He's been at the top for a minute. Cash money Chris. It was a tough season last year for Chris Middleton because he was injury riddled all season, missed the first so many games, and then when he came back,
33, right?
Yeah, when he came back, came off the bench for like the longest time, got hurt again, and then towards the end of the season, they finally like started to get him back into it, like playing high minutes, getting him ramped up for the playoffs, and that's when he started to do well. But only 15 points per game last year for Chris, 5 assists, shot the ball poorly, 43% from the field, 31 from 3. That's not the Chris Middleton we know. I mean, I still love watching Chris Middleton. His little pull-up, like, fadeaway mid-range, that's one of my favorite. Like, if I'm just taking certain guys' specific shots, his, like, pull-up midi, but where he, like, fades to the side.
He's, like, slowly
like, he's
fading.
going left, and he, like, is fading left. I mean, it is never going to miss. Like, it's never going to miss. And he's a very good playoff performer. We've seen him over the years. But he might be starting to fall a little bit, you know? He's my number 8.
And we can just say it how it is. My number 7 is Chris Middleton. He's falling off. No, I'm playing. I'm totally playing.
I'm putting that in there. That was funny.
Chris Middleton's a beast. But like you said, he just didn't play enough last year on this Bucks squad. I think if he plays more, he's definitely above my number 6 guy. Like, there's no question about it if he plays more. But he didn't play enough. So I'm gonna.
But he got the bag still this offseason. Got $30 million. So
and I'm excited to watch him. That shot is unreal. Like because you know exactly. What it means,
you know exactly.
But he's not even really fading.
No,
like he's like drifting.
He's like drifting to the side.
Yeah.
It's not like a fade. It's like he's just like moving.
There's no lean in it. Nothing.
Yeah.
He's just kind of moving
and
that
way. Never
way.
misses. Like it's gonna go in every time.
Man, I like that guy's game.
My number 7 is Mikal Bridges. I'm giving Bridges the leap here, strictly for his Brooklyn numbers. I mean, last year he averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But once he got to Brooklyn, he averaged 26 points per game on 47.5 field goal percentage, 37.5 from 3. And that's his being the first time being a number 1 option. You know, to put up those numbers on that efficiency and that sample size as your first time with that type of volume, I mean, that is impressive out of Mikal Bridges. We know what he offers on the defensive end. I hope that doesn't go away a little bit as, you know, because when players become stars, they kind of just, like, forget about defense a little bit. We've kind of seen it with Kawhi Leonard a little bit. Even DeJounte Murray, honestly, like, has kind of lost it a little bit.
A lot.
So we kind of see that with certain guys. I hope Mikal is not one of them. I don't think he made an all-defensive team this year, so, like,
he's got to be hungry. It's about staying hungry.
Exactly. And I know he's hungry because he's definitely like the guy that's like the most improved player, like favorite for next year, and or like gonna be a first-time All-Star next year favorite type guy, you know? So he's number 7.
Yeah, he's just starting to eat his steaks, and he's still hungry, baby. He needs his potatoes. My number 6 is DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan is a guy that, like, the more I watch him, the less I like him.
No, stop.
DeMar DeRozan is just the most terrible defender. He's so good at offense, like so good. He's one of the mid-range lethal assassins. Average 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on 50% shooting, 72 games in a year. I mean, there's not much to complain about when you hear that, when you see that.
Right.
But then, like I say, you watch him and it's like, huh, it just something's a little off. You don't seem to be impacting the game all that much with all the scoring. But I mean, still number 6.
Exactly.
On a bad list.
Yeah, my number 6 is also DeMar DeRozan. 2 seasons ago, he was an MVP candidate, and it was like, how high do we rank him? Because, like, we still know what DeMar is, like, he's a guy that doesn't shoot threes and shoots efficiently from inside the three-point line, and is not that good of a defender. But he was really good 2 seasons ago, mainly because the Bulls were really good. I think he was like second team All-NBA too, which is really cool. This season, definitely, I don't even know if he made the All-Star game this year. He still had a solid season, 24.5 points, 5 assists on 50% shooting. Once again, he doesn't shoot threes. But I've always had an appreciation for guys that are mid-range killers because that's like how I play.
It's how we both play.
Yeah, like I don't shoot a lot. I mean, like you should like shoot threes.
I do shoot threes.
I
now.
don't be shooting threes.
Yeah,
like I've been like trying to work on my threes a little bit. It's not like I'm not confident to. I just am I would just much rather shoot a mid range.
I got a cool story based on this.
Yeah.
We have a kid who plays for the AU program, and he was last year. He's this incredible shooter. He's on real basketball player, on real point guard. And he was shooting lights out from 3 last year. And the coach walked up to him and said, why do you not shoot threes anymore this year? Like, why have you quit shooting them? Like, you've been fine all year. Like, is there a reason? And he said this. He said, Coach, I feel like it's a cop-out when I can get by anybody who's guarding me. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
Like,
is that like a too cocky of an answer?
No, this kid's that good.
Okay.
It's Easton Day from Mount Pleasant.
Oh, yeah.
He's an incredible point guard. Going to be a college prospect. He's unreal. But
That's honestly how I feel.
Exactly, though. But, like, he said that, and everything clicked. It was like, this kid's got it figured out.
Yeah.
It is a cop-out. He can just go to the lane and finish it or get a midi.
Right. Yeah.
He's awesome.
But if you shoot threes, well, yeah. But like I said, I have a respect for the mid-range killers, so DeMar's number 6.
My number 5 is Brandon Ingram, one of our combined.
We're about to have the same exact list.
Yeah, we are.
Sure.
Number 5, Brandon Ingram, 25 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 48% shooting. He's just a beast. I mean, me and you are both big fans of Brandon Ingram. We both like the way he plays. He's a great playmaker, really agile, athletic, shoots the ball well. He just kind of does it all.
Yeah, my number 5 is Brandon Ingram. We've talked about this for a few years now, but like Brandon Ingram is one of the better like all-around offensive players in the NBA for a guy his size. Definitely has a lot of Paul George in his game offensively. He's such a good playmaker for the assist numbers. I mean, he only put up 6 assists, but like such a good playmaker. Towards the end of the season, too, really had the best stretch of his career last season. And I hope that he can unleash that the full season this year.
The moment you traded him to me, he started going nuts.
Dude, and then Zion never played.
Zion didn't play
I regret that trade so much, dude. But yeah, Ingram is phenomenal, and I wish I could put him higher because he deserves to be higher than 5th on a list.
For sure.
Especially a list this poor. I mean, the bottoms, like the top 5 is really good. The bottom 5 is like, none of these dudes are going to be on the top 25 players list. Not even close. Not even going to sniff the list.
None.
Brandon Ingram might not even make the list, dude.
It's actually crazy how bad this list is.
This is easily the worst list. Like, it's top heavy. Even the top, like, isn't even... I mean, it's definitely damn good. Like, it has a few top 10 players. By 3 top 10 players. Maybe 4. But, like, other than that, though, it sucks. Like, this list is not... Like, when Franz Wagner and Andrew Wiggins
Franz
make the
averaged
list...
17 a game.
You know, like, it's not like they're bad, but it's like, compared to the honorable mentions list of point guards and shooting guards was crazy.
Yeah, for sure. We were leaving off all-stars. Like,
literally. I left off Keegan Murray on this one. A rookie. All right, go ahead.
My number 4 is Jimmy Butler. I wrote down stats for all these other guys, but it doesn't matter with Jimmy's
stats don't matter.
You watch it and you know, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. We've seen him in the finals twice now. Like, we know.
Because his stats aren't even that good. Like,
he averages like 20 a game.
He averaged 23 a game last year. Like, that's, yeah, Jimmy Butler's number 4. I could see some people saying that he should be higher than Tatum, because he's defeated him in the playoffs last year and everything. I could see it. But, like, we know that Tatum's better. Now, if Tatum was replaced with Jimmy, does Tatum take the Heat to the finals? Probably not. I mean, if I'm being honest, like, he probably doesn't. I think Jimmy that's how he is. Phenomenal playoff performer, but Yeah, I mean, that's basically, I'm not dissing him by any means, putting him here at 4. There's just 3 better guys above him.
3 more skilled guys, I think, more than anything. Jimmy Butler's like leadership ability is one
And the
of
Heat
one.
they better get Dame. I mean, they better get him. If you don't get him, what, you think you're just going to, I understand, like, you made the finals. But, like, you were 1 game away from losing in the play-in tournament just because DeMar DeRozan's daughter couldn't make the game.
Yeah, in fact, she wasn't screaming the whole
If
game.
that isn't the craziest butterfly effect moment from last year.
Yeah, I love that. I love that whole story.
Like, so, like, you can't just run it back with this squad. I know you made the finals, but, like,
you need Dame.
you need some more guys even.
You need Dame.
Yeah.
And because I've just seen too many superstars photoshopped in Heat jerseys for not one of them to end
Plus,
up there.
Dame in the Heat. Dame is Heat culture, dude.
He is.
He so is.
I'm not
and
running
the
from
Heat
the
culture
grind.
is such a like, oh, that's Heat. That's just Heat culture. You know, like it's such a dumb thing, but like
It's real.
Dame also, he just is that. Yeah.
Remember when Heat culture was dead? And then it came back
What does
to
that
life.
even mean?
Heat culture was dead, dude. Nobody cared about it. And then all of a sudden,
until the bubble.
boom.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying
like after the bubble?
After the bubble, it was like, oh, the Heat aren't like that anymore.
Yeah.
The Heat culture's dead.
That's true.
Like, oh, they got dog in them. Or how far does that get you? Oh, it gets you back to the
Oh,
finals.
and then I mean the year before they went to the Eastern Conference, Game 7 of the Eastern Conference
but Heat
Finals.
culture was dead.
Okay. Top 3.
Number 3, I have Jason Tatum, averaging 30 points per game last season, 5 assists, 9 rebounds, and 47% shooting. Offensively, he's a monster. Defensively, he's really, really good. I'm not going to call him a monster, but he's really, really, really solid. And he does a great job. I mean, Jason Tatum has been a winner since the day he stepped in this league at 19 years old. Whether you say he's got good teams around him or not, it doesn't matter. He won. And he was an important player on every single squad he's been on. That says a lot. A guy who just can't really lose, and he's been in a good situation. A lot of these other guys we've seen have been in good situations and can't get it done.
Right.
You can't tell me Joel Embiid hasn't been in a good situation his entire career in Philly. He has been. And he has never made it to he's made it to the Eastern Conference Finals once.
Embiid hasn't.
Oh, he hasn't?
No.
That Jimmy Butler? Did they lose on
That was
Kawhi's?
the
That was the
semis, yeah.
semis.
Yep.
Okay, no. Facts. Embiid,
At least Tatum be making that.
facts.
Made the finals once, you know, like.
And that's a big deal, and that's why I think Tatum is here at 3.
Yeah, Tatum is my number 3 as well. I basically all the same reasons as you. I could see a world where you would put Tatum over Kawhi. Like,
too.
I definitely could.
I thought about it.
And, like, I didn't really think about it until now. Like, I just made my list, and then I was just sitting here thinking about it. I was like, man, like, low-key, Tatum over Kawhi, like, isn't that bad of an argument. Was Tatum on in our top 10 last year? Top 10 players?
I don't think so.
He had been right off. He makes it this year, right? Does Devin Booker make it? Because those are the 2 guys that I was like, those 2 are probably top 10.
I have to write down my list to know.
I know.
I would think D-Book and Tatum are, but
Right.
like then you have Luka. I'm still taking.
My biggest question is who's higher, Bron or AD?
Bron,
Right? But
Yeah.
like AD low-key was probably better last season.
maybe.
Like total wise, you know?
Yeah, for the entire.
So it's hard.
Total.
It's hard. Anyways, though, 2 and 1, just saying.
My number 2 is Kawhi Leonard. My number 1 is LeBron James. I didn't expect LeBron to be back. I don't think LeBron was our number 1 small forward last year.
He was.
Was
I
he?
got the list.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
The list is very, very similar to
Gotcha.
last year.
Which really, really sucks. But shout out LeBron.
Yeah, Kawhi's number 2, LeBron is number 1. It's been this way for a while, and it might change soon, honestly. I mean, I didn't think LeBron was going to be here still, honestly.
Low key, there's a world where you could take Tatum over LeBron.
Number 1.
Like there is a world where Tatum's the number 1
Dude.
player and number 1 small
Like,
forward.
you honestly could have Tatum as number 1.
Yeah, I couldn't argue it.
I honestly wouldn't be that mad about it.
Oh, he averages 30. He's a better scorer than LeBron.
Like,
He
low
isn't
key,
the
when we do
passer.
our top whatever list, there's a world I might switch it up. It's kind of against the rules, but, like,
It don't matter.
I don't care.
I'm not gonna say
Tatum's that dude.
Be
I mean,
like
like,
that.
he's had his playoff struggles, but, like, in that Game 6 against Philly this year, when he ripped 4 straight threes, like, they were going to lose to Philly. And Philly was going to finally make the Eastern Conference Finals. He's like, nah.
Dude went nuclear.
Like, in that game against the Milwaukee Bucks 2 playoffs ago, that's one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. We had 51, I think, on, like, insane efficiency. Didn't even go to the free throw line very much. Like, Tatum is that guy. Like,
Low
he for
key,
sure
he's
is.
number 1. Low key.
Like, are you changing the list right now?
Low key, Tatum's 1.
Like, I'll let you do it.
Yeah, Tatum's low key 1. He is.
And LeBron and Kawhi just moved
yeah,
on.
yeah. Yeah, Tatum's 1.
That's cool.
Tatum, you put Tatum on that Lakers team, and they're just as good, if not better.
Probably. I always say that, but I don't like measuring like who's better that way because it's just like they play that way because they're on that team.
You're right.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
But I get what you're saying though. Like it's definitely a valid
Tatum's
point.
a beast, man.
Yeah.
He is
He
that.
really is. But so is Kawhi, and Kawhi just gets hurt. So like, but that could be why you lower him. But like that game 1 against the Phoenix Suns this season, like in the playoffs, like Kawhi when he was going crazy, like that really like brought me back. I was like, oh my god, he's doing it again. It's just 2019 all over again. Like I miss seeing Kawhi in the playoffs, and we just haven't.
We are so
I
far
want him.
removed from Kawhi being a playoff player.
Yeah, since 2019,
It's been 4 years.
literally.
Oh, that really sucks.
Because like the bubble, I mean, he had an opportunity, but then they just sucked in the bubble.
man,
How far are we into this?
hour 24.
Okay, we're doing one last thing before we end this.
Hell yeah.
Because I had a trivia. And
Yep.
if we're being honest, if we're keeping it 100 right now, it's late night cast. Easton had a poor performance on trivia last week. So I had to give him a layup here.
Don't say that. You can't say that.
Okay, so I've been trying to like relate the themes of trivia to the positional rankings. But I did like shooting threes with shooting guards, and like low-key small forwards do the same. So like, you know what? Let's just do like scorers, you know? Like these guys score. Last season, there was 6 players in the NBA that averaged over 30 points per game. Can you name me all of them?
Cool.
That actually is crazy, by the way. 6 30 points per game scores. I would love to know the last time that happened, if it's ever happened. It could.
I highly doubt it's. I mean, unless it happened in the 60s.
It could have happened in the 60s, but like it definitely has not happened
in the modern era.
in the modern era, or in the before the modern era,
the pre-modern
the
era.
90s. Yeah, I guess that is modern.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
Yup, he's number 4.
Luka Doncic,
Yup, he's number 2.
Jason Tatum,
Yup, he's number 6.
who Embiid.
Embiid is number 1.
Okay.
You are missing number 3 and number 5. Can he do it going no strikes?
Who else averaged 30 a game last season? Who am I missing?
Kind of a stupid hint, but like they're both all NBA players. Kind of stupid though. Like obviously they average 30.
Did Steph Curry do it?
Steph Curry did not.
Okay.
Strike 1.
All right. Who else would be averaging that many points? I got Tatum. There's not anybody on the Lakers. I'm gonna go through some teams. Portland. Did Dame do it? Don't give me those eyes. Damian Lillard.
Dame is number 3. Yes, he has averaged a career high last year.
Okay, so I'm missing number 5. And I want to say the instant thought. Booker. Just too many weapons on the
Booker.
team for
Not
at the end of the
Booker.
year.
He had to have been close.
He
though.
had to have been.
He had to have been close. Okay, so 2 strikes. This would not be the first time this guy has averaged 30 points per game. But that don't take that too, like, I'm not making it obvious because there's obviously a few guys that would meet that caliber. But this guy didn't just like explode this year. Like, he been doing it.
Well, okay, so I know guys who've been doing it. Bradley Beal did not this season. He was not one of those guys.
He's a much higher caliber player than
Bradley Beal.
like
KD did not.
This guy was first team All NBA.
Oh my God! So run through the team. It's Embiid. It's who's there? Who goes there? I don't know the All NBA team.
Well, you already got Luka, Shea, Tatum, and Embiid, so it's the 5th dude.
Who's the other forward who be doing that? It's not KD.
That's not a guess, but it's not KD. No,
Because he don't do it like that.
he did average like 29, I think.
Oh my
but-
gosh! Who else was on my All NBA team?
You know, KD was 50, 40, 90 when he got to Phoenix. I know he didn't play that many games, but no, don't look. You don't need to look for this guy. This guy is really good. Okay, if this gives another hint. This guy has the longest active streak of first team All NBAs in the NBA right now.
Oh, Giannis?
Giannis, yes. Giannis is the 5th guy.
That honestly wouldn't have been a guy I would have guessed.
Really?
Anyways, like I just never would have went to Giannis.
31 points per game last year.
That's ridiculous. What is Shea average? 32?
31.4.
The Shea thing is so unreal.
I know.
Because of his
Because he don't
explosion.
shoot threes. I mean, Giannis don't either, but like, yeah, Shea from what, like 23 to like 31.
And the explosion even from when he was in LA where it was like, yeah, this guy's really good, but like we don't know how good he's
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
get.
he averaged like 11 points per game as rookie.
Everybody was going, no, that guy is legit.
Yeah.
And it just kept happening.
Which also, like, he was a starting guard on, like, a playoff caliber team, which is, like, not done by many dudes. So, you know,
Especially
that
rookie year.
Yeah, that definitely, like, probably had something to do with it. But
Yeah, shout out Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
all right, everybody, that's going to be it for today's episode. It was a long one. I hope you enjoyed this one. Once again, let me know if you want to hear more Tigers talk. And let us know if you're excited for the 25 words or less video.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bye.
Deuces.